I want to give you guys my real opinion about this whole thing being said right now. That everything's going to be printed into the ground. This is just history repeating itself. This is the same thing from Sword and Shield. Now, before I give you guys my real opinion, I have to say this is, like I said, my opinion. This is not factual. This is what I take from this whole thing of people saying that everything's gonna be printed in the ground. This is just history repeating itself. My opinion I'm giving you here isn't factual. I'm just giving you my opinion. So with that out the way, I want to explain this my thought process about people just saying this. So just right out the gate, before even talk about these comparisons people are making with Sword and Shield sets, you guys got to understand something. People comparing, you know, Sword and Shield era to Scarlet and Violet era, it's not apples to apples. It's apples to oranges. The market and how these conditions came to be are totally different, and I think people fail to realize that. What was happening in 2021, guys? You know, the virus in the world, these influencers, like big influencers pushing Pokemon, a lot of artificial, you could say, demand, a lot of inflated demand that wasn't natural, right? How about now, in 2025, in Scarlet and Violet? Why is Pokemon popular now? Is it because of some virus and people at home? No. Is it because of some huge influencer and everything having a huge impact? No. It's because of Pokemon. It's because of these good sets coming out now and the TCG Pocket app and all these rip and ship things. That is the reason why we are in this market. It's not because of some artificial stuff going on that was a black swan event like the virus. This is not this. So right then and there, the comparison, I get it. What people try to say, history repeating itself, but you can't compare these two times. They're not the same. We're both in hype eras, yeah, but how it came to be is totally different. And I think that's what some people are really failing to realize. A lot of those people that were into Pokemon in 2021, they were there because of these influencers. They were there because of the virus, but a lot of them did leave after because it was inflated because of these things that, a Black Swan event sort of thing. So just then and there, the comparison, whenever people go back to Sword and Shield and say history will repeat itself, I never, like I said, I never discount the fact it can happen 100%. But just realize when you're making these comparisons that in these two times, everyone's just saying, yeah, it's the same thing because they're both hyped up. Well, the times were different and how it came to be is different. So just know that. But without the way, I want to talk about these comparisons people are making from these Sword and Shield sets and these Scarlet and Violet sets, comparing the two, how they're the same, and how the same scenario is going to happen. And I want to give you guys my opinion on this. So just recently, Prismatic Evolutions. We had this statement come out from Pokemon that they're going to print to maximum capacity as soon as possible. Like that really means anything, right? But they came with that statement, calmed a lot of people down, seemed to calm the market a little bit. And some people are satisfied now, which I think was their whole point of making that statement. But yeah, without statement there now, a lot of people are thinking this is going to be like a specific Sword and Shield set, that came out hyped up as Prismatic Evolutions, and later got put into the ground and crashed. People are saying that now the statement came out, they're thinking that this is going to happen. Now, I'm going to give you guys my real opinion on this. A lot of people making these comparisons to Sword and Shield sets, it's not apples to apples. It's the same thing with people comparing this hype thing right now to 2021. It's not apples to apples, it's apples to oranges. And I want to show you guys that here because a lot of people are nitpicking sets, and I'm going to give you examples of Sword and Shield sets that got printed into the ground that have done extremely well. But people don't want to talk about those. People want to talk about the sets that were artificially inflated because of the whole hype thing and then crashed because it really wasn't that great of a set. But look at the sets that are hyped up now. I think a lot of people need to see this because a lot of people just like to see on paper, this happened at this date, this set came out. This is like they're not really looking into things other than just face value, and that's what hopefully this video can open your guys' like minds to what is really going on now. Now, I'm not saying that these prices are going to be like this forever. I do think at some point they will calm down, but to say that this is going to happen exactly like these other sets and how they're going to absolutely crash, I just don't see it happening. So, Prismatic Evolutions right now, lowest listing is 135 for an elite trainer box. And I want to show you guys the sets. So, look at this set. Just look at the cards in Prismatic Evolutions, right? Look at the artworks. This is an Eevee set. Another thing, right, you got to think about. Look at the artworks in the set. Think about the pull rates that we've seen so far. People saying it's bad, right? Look at all these cards. Obviously, Master Balls, Pokeballs, right? You look at this set, okay? And now let's compare this to what people are comparing it to now. Shining Fates. This is the same thing people were saying about Surging Sparks and Vivid Voltage. Why? Because Shining Fates has an Eevee on it. And guess what? Prismatic Evolutions has an Eevee on it. Oh, it's the same thing, right, guys? But are we being for real right now? People making this comparison. Like I said, I'm not discounting the fact this can't happen. But let's look at this set. This is the main set. Obviously, there's the Shiny Volt, which I'll get to. This is the main set, guys. Wow, this is a really good set. Really good artwork, guys, right? Okay. Now let's look at the actual part of the set that matters, the Shiny Volt. Wow, really good set, guys. The artwork is completely comparable. These artworks you're seeing, these baby shinies, they're the exact same thing as the SIRs, guys. Obviously, I did a bad job there trying to be sarcastic. But these are not apples to apples. You can say this set was hyped up when it came out the gate, and this set is also hyped up, so the same thing's going to happen. You can say that. But look into it a little bit more. The sets are not the same, and the times are different. Like I said, with this hype thing, it's not 2021 virus influencer. That's not 2025. So when you compare and you really think about it, the sets are not the same at all. The chases are different. Pull weights are different. Prismatic has Master Balls, Pokeballs, has all these things going for it. And you look at Shiny Face, which people are not comparing to. It has baby shinies, a Charizard VMAX that's $100. Let's not even get to the prices of these cards. Obviously, they're going to be inflated for the time being for Prismatic. But let's not even talk about those prices. Just the card artwork, guys. This thing has Rainbow Rares, Full Art Trainers. Yeah, it has a Charizard VMAX, and it has baby shinies. Are we really making this comparison? And it's the same thing people saying Surging Sparks is Vivid Voltage because of Pikachu. You could argue that Surging Sparks maybe is overhyped. You can make that argument whatever you want. But when you look at Vivid Voltage and Surging Sparks, the arts, it's the same thing. People just seeing the artworks on the boxes. Oh, this is Eevee, this is Eevee. It's the same thing. Prismatic must be Shining Fate situation. Oh, Surging Sparks, Pikachu, Vivid Voltage, Pikachu. It's the same thing. No. Look at the sets. Look at what's going on in the set. And then you can make that comparison. But people aren't doing that. People just face value saying, oh, this is hyped up, so this is hyped up. Oh, they're the same. It's all the same. But it's really not. And like I said, I want to tell you guys that people are nitpicking this stuff. I understand things are more inflated than they probably should be. Sure, because a lot of demand right now. But the whole comparison between just these specific sets is nitpicking. I'm going to tell you guys why. In Sword and Shield, like I said, people comparing Surging Sparks to Vivid Voltage. People comparing Prismatic Evolutions to now Shining Fates, which obviously, like I said, I think is an absurd comparison. Why not talk about Evolving Skies? Why did Evolving Skies, I don't know if you guys know, got printed into the ground? Not booster boxes. You know how many Evolving Skies packs were in products? There were so many products that were reprinted that had Evolving Skies packs in them. And what happened to the prices of Evolving Skies? Absolutely nothing. Why? Because it's a good set. You guys think that Prismatic Evolutions is not a good set? You guys think Surging Sparks is really not a good set? So when you're comparing these sets that were hyped up, that were, it seems like really not that great, but obviously at the time, a lot of new people and, this inflated, demand. These sets were never, obviously it's all opinion and all these things you could say, but they were really not extremely good, right? You could say. Because when you look at Shining Fates and you look at Prismatic Evolutions, there's no competition here. So these artworks are not comparable. And just people making this comparison, I think, is absurd. And, the good sets, the good artworks from Sword and Shield have done absolutely great. Fusion Strike even, $500. Lost Origin, $400. Chilling Reign, and those got printed into the ground, you could say too. Those booster boxes were $80. Chilling Reign and Fusion. What are they at now? People are comparing bad sets from Sword and Shield to good sets in Scarlet and Violet to say that they're the same thing. On paper, people can just look at these events that are happening, these hype phases, and this set was hyped up and then it crashed. All the same thing's going to happen. But look into it a little bit more. And when you look into it a little bit more, I don't think the same thing's going to happen. And an example I always like to give, because now we have this specialty set, Prismatic Evolutions, that's hyped up. Look at 151. Because like I said, I don't agree with the comparisons of Sword and Shield to Scarlet and Violet because there are different times in the market. Look at 151, guys. 151 is over a year old, okay? What are the prices of 151? Can anyone tell me? What are Elite Trainer boxes, like 150? Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box is what, 350? Other products, booster bundles, what, like 70 bucks? Binder collections at what, 90, 100 bucks? And those had a lot of supply dropped in the market. Walmart, Target, Costco, all these huge restocks online, in person, in stores. But nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody wants to compare Sword and Shield to Scarlet and Violet because apparently they're the exact same thing. Like I said, they're not. Times are different. How it happened was different. Sets are different. This comparison, I feel like, is getting out of hand with Sword and Shield sets to Scarlet and Violet. And, it's going to be both sides of the argument, guys. Like, you can say that I'm coping because I'm invested into this stuff. But then you can also make the argument that people that are saying that this thing's going to get printed into the ground, it's going to be worth nothing. You can make the same argument those people are coping because they didn't buy anything. Because I get that all the time in my comments. You're just coping. You're just saying this to help your argument and your position. I'm giving you guys my honest take on things. Like I said, you can argue both ways that both parties are coping. People saying it is going to get printed in the ground. People are not, who are saying it's not. You can argue both ways. People are coping. Whatever you want to take this, take it how you will. But these comparisons people are trying to make are so just blown out of proportion just because people are just looking things at face value, trying to connect the dots, but they're not connecting because you're not comparing the same things. And I think people really got to stop doing this because, I don't know, I think it's not giving accurate information. Because if people were really to look at the good sets in Sword and Shield that got printed a lot, like I said, look how they're doing. Stop comparing these sets that are bad, Shining Fates, Vivid Voltage, to these really good Scarlet and Violet sets. They're not the same. So that's the end of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments what you think about these comparisons. Do you think it's accurate? Do you think Prismatic is the next Shining Fates? Do you think Surging Sparks is the next Vivid Voltage? Let me know down in the comments below what you think about that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.